Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at some rules for the Chaos Knights. This video is sponsored by the Game Bunker. More on that later. Spread terror and acquire glory with the new Chaos Knights detachment. Waves of terror ripple across the battlefield, and earth-shaking steps thunder from the gloom. They can only mean one thing: the Chaos Knights are coming, and alongside the updated datasheet and crusade rules in the Codex, they'll have all the new ways to deploy with a slate of fresh detachments. Alright, very cool. So we got the Chaos Codex on the horizon. Let's take a look at a little preview of what's to come. The new Codex contains 4 detachments, with the newly improved Traitorous Lance boasting the army's dread abilities and general performance, while the Infernal Lance channels the powers of the Warp to infuse knights with malefic strength at a price. Both of these work great when fielding a mixed force of large knights and war dogs, but if you prefer to swing one way or the other 2 detachments have some enticing options. Okay, very cool. So we have like the stock detachment basically from the index. We got one new detachment that's going to be sort of like an all-comers, and then we have one focused on big knights and one focused on war dogs. The Lords of Dread care about one thing only: their own personal glory, and they view war dogs with open contempt. Instead, they're all about dominating the battlefield and their titanic, questerous pattern knights. And for all their egomaniacal excess, they're well practiced at taking and holding ground without the support of their lessers. Okay, so we have the detachment rule for the big knights. Lords of Dread, Tyrannical Court. Improve the objective control characteristic of Chaos Knight character models from your army by 2. In addition, once per battle round, if your warlord is on the battlefield, you can use the Claim for the Dark God stratagem for 0 command points. Alright, so their OC are just going to go up by 2, as all the big knights are characters, at least they were, and then you'll be able to use the following stratagem for 0 command points once per battle round. So we have Claim for the Dark Gods, 1 command point. When? Start of any phase. Target one Chaos Knights character unit from your army that is within range of 1 or more objective markers you control. Effect: select one of those objective markers. The objective marker remains under your control with a level of control of 5, unless it would otherwise be higher, until your opponent's level of control over that objective marker is greater than yours at the end of a phase. Alright, so this is pretty good. You're going to be doing it once per battle round at the start of any phase, so you can do it anytime, even after you move onto an objective, even after you charge onto an objective. And then not only are you going to sticky the objective, but it's going to have a level of control of 5, which means somebody can't just move like 1 or 2 OC onto it. They're going to have to move like 5 bodies or 5 OC worth of bodies. So not bad. A little bit better than like just sticky, and you can do it at the start of any phase. But realistically, your opponent will be able to just like deep strike in a unit of 5 models or something like that and take it away from you. So it's not a failsafe by any means, but definitely going to help out if you only have a handful of big models. All of their stratagems are geared towards your character units, and they're notably come stoked with more enhancement options than usual, 6 to be precise. All of them give a knight a passive bonus such as Warpborn Stalker, which bestows Deep Strike, and each comes with a powerful once per battle ability. If a particularly lethal attack looks like it will slip past your armor, for instance, the Blessing of the Dark Master can knock that damage down to 0. Alright, so we have 2 enhancements. We have Warpborn Stalker, Chaos Knights model only. The bear has the Deep Strike ability. In addition, once per battle, at the end of your opponent's turn, if the bear is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. Alright, so this is a really good enhancement. The Imperial Knights have already had this. Being able to deep strike onto the battlefield initially and then being able to pick back up and then deep strike again is definitely nice. Going to give you a little bit of extra tactical flexibility. And then we have Blessings of the Dark Master, Chaos Knights model only. The bear has a stealth ability. In addition, once per battle, after making a saving throw for the bear, you can change the damage characteristic of the attack to 0. Okay, so again, really good. You're going to have stealth, so you're going to be -1 to hit for shooting. And then this is a really good blank. It's once per battle, but after you make the saving throw. So you make the saving throw, you fail it. Instead of taking like 6 or 10 damage, some big shot, you just turn it to 0. So very good enhancements. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, Game Bunker. Game Bunker carries a full range of Games Workshop products, including miniatures, terrain, paint, tools, and more. Game Bunker offers 15% off MSRP for most Games Workshop products with the discount code WHMS. Receive free shipping in the continental United States on orders over $145. Online orders ship out within 24 hours. Game Bunker is a veteran-owned business. Use affiliate link below, enter discount code WHMS to save 15% on most items at checkout. For fast, friendly service with a discount on your favorite tabletop wargaming purchases, visit GameBunker.net and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. For maximum arrogance, why even bother swinging your weapons at the swarming chattel down there when you have some perfectly good feet with which to pace them? One sweep of your titanic talons and they'll be crushed like vermin, so you can get on with the important work of hunting down worthier foes. Alright, so we have crushed like vermin, 1 command point. When your movement phase just after a Chaos Knight character unit from your army ends a normal move. Target that Chaos Knight character unit. Effect: select one enemy unit excluding monsters and vehicles that your unit moved over during the move and roll 66. For each 4-up, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If one or more models are destroyed as a result of the stratagem, the enemy unit must take a battle shock test. Alright, so it's in your movement phase, you're going to spend a command point, and then you're going to do an average of 3 mortal wounds, and then force a battle shock test on a non-vehicle, non-monster unit. So not bad, it's not amazing. Obviously if you battle shock them, that could be useful, but it's definitely not a game changer of a stratagem. If on the other hand, you can't stand the posturing of the selfish elite and want to muck up with the war dogs, the Houndpack lance lets you ignore the big guys entirely. As war dog units don't normally have the character keyword, this detachment lets you choose 3 units to gain it. So you can upgrade them with enhancements, make one your warlord. Okay, so that's interesting. There is a war dog right now, the Stalker, that does have the character keyword. So I'm not sure if they're taking that away, and then this will give you the ability to give 3 of your war dogs character, or if you're still going to have the Stalker be a character, and then you'll have the addition of 3 other units you can make a character. So I'm sure we're going to see some changes in the book, but this likely is one of them. Alright, so here we have the detachment rule, Houndpack Lance, marked prey. At the start of the command phase, select 1 unit from your opponent's army. Until the start of the next command phase, each time a war dog model from your army makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, that unit is visible to the attacking model. That attack has a sustained hits 1 ability. Alright, so in the command phase, you're going to select a unit, that's your marked prey, and then anytime a war dog that can see them makes an attack that targets that unit, they'll have sustained hits 1. So that is pretty good. It does not specify combat or shooting, so it's going to be combat and shooting. So on 6s, you're going to get an extra hit with everything that attacks them, so that is definitely nice. The melt lances or just a slapping combat is going to make a big difference when you get an extra one. And then keywords, while using the Houndpack Lance detachment, the following rules apply. So we have a few bullet points here. Your army must include 3 or more war dog units. War dog units from your army have the battle line keyword. When mustering your army, select 3 war dog units from your army. Until the end of the battle, those units have the character keyword. And then the designer's note, this means that the selected units can be given enhancements, and one of them can be selected as your warlord. So you're going to be able to make 3 of your war dogs characters. You have to include at least 3 war dogs in your army, and then now the war dogs will have the battle line keyword. So again, the war dogs already all have the battle line keyword, so we would presume that this is going away in the Codex, and that this will grant all of your war dogs the battle line keyword. And obviously this is a very powerful ability as it benefits you on a lot of the missions, especially in like the existing mission pack. Now we don't know if that's going to change in the new mission pack coming out, but overall pretty strong rules. Sustained hit 1 against a single target and shooting in combat, 3 war dogs becoming characters, and then all your war dogs having the battle line keyword, all very good abilities. Alright, and then moving on from there, how many war dogs can you use the Houndpack Lance? Our estimate is about 13, which is a lot of corrupted steel for an enemy to hold back. We're particularly fond of an enhancement that gives 1 the super heavy walker rule so it can steamroll through enemy units like they're not there. Alright, so I currently run 13 war dogs in my army and then a little squad of nurglings, so this is definitely very viable. It tells us that the points are probably going to be around the same. So first the enhancement, Prey Slayer's Mantle, war dog model only. The bearer has the super heavy walker ability. So you move through enemy units and terrain as if they're not there. So definitely not bad, as one of the most powerful stratagems currently for the Chaos Knights is Knights of the Shade, which allows you to basically move through stuff like it's not there. So being able to just permanently attach this to one of your models, definitely kind of nice. But you are going to be losing some flexibility if you don't have that stratagem available to you, and that was definitely a crucial point of the Chaos Knights army that made them viable. And then we have Hungry for Combat, 1 command point, start of the fight phase, 2 or more war dog units from your army within engagement range of the same enemy unit. In fact, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of the war dog units. Until the end of the phase, models in those war dog units can only target that enemy unit. But each time a model in one of those war dog units makes an attack, an unmodified hit roll of 5 scores a critical hit. So combining this with the detachment rule, you're going to have sustained hits 1. You're going to be in combat with a target, and then you're going to select multiple war dogs, and then they're going to be critting on 5s. So you're basically going to be getting the sustained hits on 5s in combat, which is pretty nice against that selected target. Looking forward to getting your heavy metal traders stuck into the slaughter? Come back to the Warhammer store on Saturday for pre-orders of the Codex, New Knight, Ruinator, and other accessories. We'll see you again in a few days to look over the Chaos Knights Update Crusade rules. Alright, so pretty cool overall. Obviously, this is just a taste of what's in the Codex. We know there's 4 detachments. We know there is a brand new data sheet. I'm sure there's going to be some changes, probably to the army rule, and then of course like the new detachment rules, and then a bunch of new stratagems and enhancements. So when the book comes out, we'll definitely dive in deeper and get a much more realistic idea as to how the knights are going to act on the battlefield, what type of armies are going to be more or less viable. And I am super excited for this, as I love playing my Chaos Knights. I personally like the all armiger list. The war dogs is basically just a nice little stat check. It's fun and it's easy to play. It's also relatively cheap, especially if you just pick up 2 of the new Battleforces and basically have a full army right out of the boxes. But I do have a bunch of the big Chaos Knights as well, and I will definitely be looking forward to the new kit, the new rules, and more viable ways to run them on the table. So let me know what you think of the new Chaos Knights, the model, the rules, the Codex. Are you excited for all this stuff? You're going to be picking up the Battleforce? Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to the Game Bunker for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products with code WHMS at checkout. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And this year really is the year of chaos. And I'm out of here.